And most frequently, the question I am asked is, how does a session go? Whether it is in person or over the telephone, which I can do both, without having any prior information about you at all. When I'm given the sheet from the director for phone appointments, it just has a phone number and what time to call. So when I make the telephone call, I give people a general rundown or setup where I tell them, most importantly, please don't have any preconceived expectations about this. It won't work the way I think it should. It won't work the way you think it should. It works the way your loved ones desire it to work. The only thing I do ask for is that you acknowledge with yes so that you understand. Don't volunteer any sort of information, and let the session continue to progress. The reason I ask for the acknowledgement is this way I'm sure we're all on the same page and that you're understanding. Because remember, I'm just the instrument, so it's your loved ones that you're hearing from, and they go greater to from your voice, and they want to make sure that you're understanding as well as the messages they're entailing. So I continue to do that, to go through the session. Eventually, after those minor preliminaries, it goes full force into its detail and such. Most of the times, names come through, sometimes they don't, especially, of course, if it's a name I've never heard before in my life, or they can wait until toward the end of the session. The sessions, both private and phone, go on for about an hour or a little bit longer. And then all of a sudden they'll signal me that they're going to drop the curtain on me, and I get ready to let them go back. So, but they don't go back to some place because they're here where we are. It's just the world unseen. And usually they can it energizes me. It doesn't make me tired, but they must have a reason that they can only hold me for so long, and then they have to move on. I always ask people in the beginning, don't ask about somebody, don't ask about why Joe Blow hasn't shown up or anything like that. Big mistake. Let them and me handle it. Better let them handle it. Joe Blow may show up later on. They don't necessarily have to be the first individual soul there to reach out to you. And usually who's most significant to you will make their presence known, and the soul who has the most need to reach out will receive the priority to certainly reach out to you as the subject, with me as the instrument. So that's basically how it goes, and each session is different and unique. That's why I tell people, don't have any preconceived expectations. Just come in, as the souls in the hereafter have said, refuse nothing, ask for nothing. And I think that's sound advice prior to a session beginning. One thing I should explain also as to how a session works. I used to think that the ability worked off my brain, but a renowned scientist I had done a seminar with years ago said that it actually is more than likely working off my subconscious, where that is like the human computer where all the information for me is stored. So, in other words, they've at times taken me back to when I was a youngster so they can get a message or a name through clearly. Or there have been times where I don't understand why they're showing me something. So I'll just say to the subject, they're showing me this. Do you understand? And if you say yes, as far as I'm concerned, mission accomplished. And, proceeds along those lines. They may at times show me something I'm familiar with, such as a scene from an old movie, a piece of music, a work of art, something in my own family, which will help me to understand what name or situation they're trying to get across. They seem to be very incredible sometimes, things that they show me. And I often wonder if somebody could just figure out how do they get into my subconscious. For example, they may show me receiving confirmation as a little boy, and I took St. Francis because of the animals as my confirmation name. And I know immediately that's a clue for the name Frank or Francis, or maybe not. It could be something to do with animals or pets or something of that nature. So much as you would look up a word in a dictionary and have several words all meaning the same thing, it seems to work the same way also. Naturally, if somebody comes to me from another country and let's say China, for example, I don't speak Chinese. So the chances of me comprehending a name are more or less limited extremely. They try their best, but they can still reach out to let you know that it is them and that they're still with you and near. So still, after all this time, it's still a learning process for me to remember what I've been shown in the past, but it may not necessarily mean what I saw. In a session I did recently, I saw St. Patrick appear, and I wasn't getting an explanation of what that vision would normally mean. It can mean several things. And it turned out that the one soul who had passed on, his name was Patrick. And I didn't think of saying that because the vision of St. Patrick can mean so many different things. So, yes, it can be confusing until, they explain it or really get into my mind, so to speak, to help me to understand. St. Patrick can be symbol of Irish heritage. St. Patrick can mean something going on with property or real estate because he comes in green fields, so to speak. It can be a clue for the name Pat or Patrick, Patricia. It's a question of me understanding from what I'm seeing what it could possibly mean. And naturally, with several different interpretations, it may take me a few seconds to land the plane and understand what this vision is intending to impress upon me. The subject that I was doing the session for, that I was discerning for, she would have understood if I had just used my own common sense and said, I'm seeing St. Patrick. Do you understand? She would have said yes, because the one soul that had passed on with her brother, his name was Patrick. To see more of my videos, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you happen to be interested in a session, just click on the link below.